Welcome to the only real estate podcast worth listening to, with your hosts Nick Good, Matt Kelderman, and Brian Force. Combined, they have 26 years of experience and have sold over 1,500 homes. Join them each week as they bring you everything you need to know about real estate. And now, here are your hosts, Nick, Matt, and Brian.
What's up, everyone?
What's happening?
Well, lots of things are happening.
I just shared the episode out to make sure we get as many people watching this debacle as humanly possible.
Yeah, this may be a really fun show today.
It's going to be amazing.
Can I just ask you guys a question right off the top?
Sure. We have no idea where this is going anyways.
Why are we wearing these headphones? I don't want to do this anymore.
Why don't you want to wear them?
It doesn't make any sense. I can hear you guys.
But you can't hear Derek. What if Derek wants to
Derek's never spoken to me through the window. He always tells us how much time is left. If we took off the headphones, would the show fall apart?
I don't know.
Would the show fall apart, Derek? It just seems insane.
Nope.
We never asked these questions.
He
He just said no. I'm taking mine off.
All right. I'm not taking mine off. This is part of the mystique.
See, and I survived.
I feel like a real podcasting animal with this on.
This is crazy.
And you sound a lot better in the headphones.
Well, thank you. I don't like hearing my own voice.
I don't know. I think I got a great voice.
Well, we are, as the description says, we're pivoting today.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't put them back on, guys.
Yeah, that's a lot
Sorry
better.
for losing my temper.
Yeah.
It's all right. Calm down.
But we're pivoting today. So we were supposed to have on the CEO and founder, David Anderson, of Lion Desk, and unfortunately, as Brian said, I think he got the bird flu.
Yep.
Yes. The bird flu, swine flu. He's not feeling well today. But he is going to be with us next week, which is going to be sweet. I know Kyle Draper put something out about CRMs the other day, and I tagged us in it, so make sure to tune back in for that one.
Yeah, that'll be
This
real
will be
fun.
great.
All kinds of cool stuff.
And something that we're starting to do to get more engagement for you guys, and really acknowledge you is we want to call out some of the first people that really started watching. So my wife Heather was the first one in there. So hey, babe.
Nice. That's every week, man.
Yeah.
Lady better show up. It's Ladies' Week next week.
Yeah, exactly.
First one on.
I think she's watching Criminal Minds right now because she sent me a little clip. So if that show's on, you're not getting an audience from her. That's her jam.
And she watches the what's the channel 23 or 9 or what does she watch the soaps on?
Oh, the novellas.
Oh, her telenovelas?
Telenovelas.
Man.
Hell yeah, dude.
It's incredible. I'm not fluent yet. I'm working on it. But
Jennifer's going to bounce out of our show now because she didn't get mentioned first.
She wasn't the first one. I'm sorry,
know.
Jennifer, but you mentioned her. We've got Tanner watching. Thanks, Tanner. And Rachel Potter.
Ooh. Housed real estate.
Big dog.
Yeah. If you're watching this live, please type L in the comments below. And I'm going to rip off what Jonathan Cook does at the local Legend show.
Yeah.
When you type L, type it where you're listening from, too. So if you're listening in Dallas.
I like that.
Yeah.
We need to get that's the thing is we need to get a more national reach. Ladies on here, mofos. We need a broader national reach, right? Like our wives tune in. We've got that on lockdown, I think.
Yep.
So now we need to figure out how far the podcast is going out into the real estate averse.
Yeah. So let us know where you're watching from. If you're watching the replay, type R. If this is on YouTube, make a comment down below. Subscribe. Hit that little dingy button. So that when we go live,
Yep.
we're dropping more videos in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're probably getting our emails.
I hope so. They're the ones with the subject lines that are mostly sexual innuendos.
They're very tantalizing subject lines.
Yeah.
It's
I even
crazy
know
how
the
many of those I
context
can
of
come up with at one time. Or it's crazy how many things lend themselves to that sort of subject matter.
I think it might be our show content.
Rachel says that Kelderman needs a hamburger.
Kelderman always needs a hamburger. What are you talking about?
So, in today's topics that we quickly came up with 15 minutes before starting, we've got some good things today. So we want to talk about a little bit of your thought process, and people jump in down below. We're watching this live and in your comments. So if you have any topics you want to cover or what you're facing in your business right now, we're the experts in answering your questions.
Right.
So, but let's kind of tackle some of these trending topics, like HUD is suing Facebook. And Facebook's in a lot of heat right now with their Facebook advertising platform. But they're suing Facebook over discrimination. And it says it's discriminating based on the Fair Housing Act. So, I know we've got some different opinions on this.
Yeah.
And we're not attorneys. We're not trying to interpret this. So, for full disclosure. So, Brian.
Well, I think. Well, all right. So
What's your thought?
I have plenty of thoughts on this, but it's important to break down what exactly it is that they're trying to substantiate in this suit, right? They're basically saying that through Facebook's paid lead ads platform or paid ads platform, that since you are able to target certain audiences based on income, age, different characteristics and interests and things like that, that you're able to discriminate against who you are offering housing opportunities to you. That's 100% nonsense in my opinion, but that's basically the genesis of the suit. So I think that Matt and I probably have a few different perspectives on this. I think it's ridiculous because what the Fair Housing Act is talking about is giving people equal opportunity to housing, right? If I am an entrepreneur and looking to make a return on my invested dollar, on my marketing dollar, it behooves me to try and market to the demographic of people that are most likely to purchase my product, right? Same as any other business, right? If I am listing a $750,000 house, it behooves me to market to people that make $150,000+ a year, not people that make less than $30,000 a year. That's not saying if somebody who makes less than $30,000 a year somehow finds the cash to make an offer on my $750,000 house, I'm going to turn them down. That would be discrimination. It's just not a particularly good use of my financial resources to market to people that more than likely on an empirical basis are not going to be the demographic that's going to make a purchase of a certain product. I don't think that's discrimination so much.
Well, I think, and for me, where I ran into it, the issue with it was the optics of it. Right, I remember when I first started running Facebook leads, I thought it was very strange how granular you could get with who you were targeting ads to.
Oh, it's creepy as hell. I'm not going to fight you on that.
It was, and I think even in my mind at the time, I probably thought I don't feel like I should be able to target marketing towards people that way. I do think the verbiage is hugely important. You use the discrimination part. You know, it's not. It has nothing to do. You're not telling somebody they can't buy a house.
Right.
You know. For me, where I struggled with it, and you run a lot more Facebook ads than I do, so I couldn't really wrap my head around how it was legal to target people that way.
I think and I think that's maybe a different conversation in and of itself, because now we're talking about privacy issues, and we're talking more about Facebook's user agreements and things like that, which nobody's ever read, but I guarantee if you do, you probably wouldn't agree to half the shit that's in there.
No doubt.
We just don't like to read long stuff. That in and of itself is tremendously creepy. But just from the outset, when we're talking about a lawsuit like this, which I think is bananas, you could compare it to other things in the real world, right? So, for example, if I'm driving down Preston Road and I see a billboard for a community that is another mile down the road, does that mean that billboard has to be replicated in every corner of the Metroplex to appeal to everybody equally? I mean, Facebook ads are just digital billboards. No, it makes sense for that billboard to be right there because you're going to pass the actual community in a mile. That wouldn't be discrimination, right? And so I understand the creepiness of being able to find out so much information about people. That's not what it seems like HUD is trying to substantiate this claim on. They're saying that you could target specific people, which you can. That in and of itself is not discrimination, right? Targeting people for a higher return on my advertised dollar is not saying that I will not sell a certain product to a certain person, right? McDonald's is probably not, running ads for Big Macs in luxury magazines for the most part.
They should.
But if the dude who's the Mr. Popper's Penguins, that guy was rich, right? I don't know why that's the first rich guy I thought of.
Why?
If he goes into McDonald's, it's super weird. My brain makes associations in really weird ways.
Yeah.
They're not going to not sell him a Big Mac is what I'm trying to say. Right. And so I think that there's a lot of things sort of generally off with that substantiation.
Well, let me jump in on this, right? So, and I'm listening while scrolling through because this is a trending headline right now in Realtor magazine. More single ladies put down a down payment on it, right? The share of single women buyers is growing, and because they want stability and purchasing a home, but don't need the marriage. So, all right, let's say that's a trending buyer.
Right.
Should I be allowed to now go and target market to single females that make above $50,000? Because the trend statistics are showing that this, single women are a large portion of home buyers, and they're actually putting money down.
100%.
Right? So they're not going, should we be allowed to be more of a sniper like with our marketing dollars rather than a blanket approach where now I have to market to men too, and that's not what this statistic is showing.
Right. Mr. Optics.
I don't have a great argument against that because specifically I think radio's been doing it for years, right? Who's the age range with the most disposable income? Men 25 to 40, right? So you hear very unnecessary items being advertised on sports talk radio
100%.
and other radio stations that are geared towards that particular demographic of people. So from that standpoint, I think I probably get sucked into a little bit of the 2019 oh my God, don't say anything, don't do anything, because it can and will be used against you in the court of public opinion. Right. So like, I think that's probably the initial thing that triggers in my head. But absolutely, if I know in Dallas, in Uptown, there's single women are buying more homes than anybody else. Why would I not advertise condos and townhomes to an age range and a specific subset of people that are buying those townhomes?
Right. 100%. I mean, the converse to that would be what would be discrimination is, let's say I'm a mortgage lender and I come out with a product that is specifically tailored for single women, meaning that I have to say and prove that I am a single woman to qualify for this loan because that's a demographic that they're trying to capture. That's discrimination. That's outright discrimination, right? Being an advertiser, a marketer, and trying to gear a message towards a group of people that can take advantage of a product that is also accessible to all age ranges and demographics, that's not discrimination. That's target marketing.
Yeah.
If that was discrimination, then every farming tactic in the world would be discrimination because I'm only marketing to a specific demographic of people.
Well, I agree. I mean, are credit card companies discriminating on who they target, their credit cards to?
I don't know. I feel like they just carpet bomb everybody with stuff in your mail.
Depends on which one it is, though. You get
true.
higher levels, or if you've got bad credit, they have lower credit ones.
I told you the first time that I got a platinum card offer, I felt very discriminated against. But we were in rare company, and it was also like one of my greatest accomplishments. Now I go to the airport just to hang out at the Centurion Lounge.
That's the only.
I don't even fly anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get mad at Heather when we don't get to the airport early enough that I can either hang out in the Admirals or the Centurion.
You guys are so fancy.
So stupid.
I try to get the Admirals Club at American Airlines. They're like, no.
Heather calls me an HCB, high class bitch, when it comes to travel.
You guys are like that. Jennifer's like that too. She even says, I'll stay in the cheapest hotel, bro. I just need a place to lay my head down. I don't care what you do.
So drop your comments down below. Let us know what your thoughts are on and let's keep it clean on some of this, please.
Right.
But let us know your thoughts on should you be able to spend your marketing dollars kind of the way you want, right? I mean, when it comes to marketing, I mean, I know that Tanner talked about he doesn't see why target marketing is different in housing than any other product. So thanks, Tanner, on that. And let's kind of switch gears a little bit. If you're watching this, again, type L in the comments. If you're watching this on Facebook, if you're watching this in YouTube, drop a comment down, subscribe, iTunes, leave us a review, and share this out, right? Share this out, tag somebody in it. This is for you guys, and so we don't get paid off any of this stuff. So let's go into ethics.
Ooh, this will be fun.
Actually, let's go into religion talk.
Ethics.
Yeah. Let's say hypothetically, and this is something that I was reading out there. Let's say hypothetically that you have a client that is selling their house and needing to buy another house, right? And their home goes under contract with a cash offer, and they're going to make they're making an offer on another home that is in multiple offers, and the agent does not include a for sale of other home addendum in there because when it's multiple offers, the house that the client is selling is a cash offer, so looks solid, and all of a sudden the house that the client is selling, the closing date gets delayed, so they need to delay the closing date on their purchase, right? And the house that client is buying, the agent finds out that actually their funds are coming from the sale of their home.
Right.
And they get all up in arms because there was not a for sale of other housing addendum in there. And so that agent then starts crying foul and saying that it was unethical and unprofessional. What's our thought in terms of being an agent and being able, how we should be representing our clients and also maintaining, professional courtesy and is that unethical?
Well, in this,
because in this article, it has different scenarios in it.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this because I'm not one to try and provoke people not to play nice with one another. I will say when it comes to questions of ethics, there is one party and one party only that is our primary or at the hierarchy of our ethical chain, and that is our clients, right? So what do the clients know in this situation? Are the clients fully aware of the situation, fully aware that if they are outside of their financing, outside of any other contingencies, that their earnest money is at risk?
It didn't say in the article. I don't know.
So if they are, I mean, the reason I ask that is because if they're fully aware and on board that their earnest money is at risk in this situation, then really what it comes down to is it's a dilemma for the sellers in the sense that do we want to just take these people's earnest money but have to put it back on the market and wait another 30 days, have 30 days of carrying costs, or do we just want to extend the closing by a few days? Any other information leading up to that point really becomes irrelevant because you're looking at it from an objective standpoint. It is down to the bare fundamental terms that are going to get this to closing, right? We extend it or we take their earnest money, right? Which makes more sense for us, The idea that you have to disclose that the home is contingent on the sale of another property. Look, if the clients are willing to put their earnest money at risk, if something doesn't work out with that property, you're not required to disclose that at all. If you want to win a multiple offer situation and your clients are fully understanding that if you put earnest money up and somebody backs out on the purchase of your home last minute, that your earnest money is going to be at risk, and they are okay and have signed off on that, you have an ethical obligation to act in the best interest of your clients and keep them informed at all times. And so if they're willing to roll the dice like that, and you think that that's going to give you the best opportunity to get the house in a multiple offer situation, it really doesn't matter what the other agent thinks or what the sellers think. They could say it's unprofessional, unethical, whatever. You don't owe them a damn thing at the end of the day. You owe your seller or your buyers, your clients, the best effort that you can possibly give them. And this is one of those areas where I would like to say, I like to think, agents don't get creative enough a lot of times. And we do this all the time. I'm talking with really, really simple things. When you're in multiple offer situations, there's a million ways that you can make your people stand out that a lot of agents just won't come up with. And that's I'm talking shortened option periods, we've put down $3,000 in option money before. I stole that from Tavis Westbrook one time that did that for me, only because we did a cost benefit analysis basically, right? The home was like 3 years old, right? We were going to have a home warranty anyway. There just wasn't anything that was going to break outside of them purposely destroying something that was going to cost more than that, right? And so you weren't in the red there if for some reason you had to terminate. There's really no reason to terminate in the first place, but it just didn't make sense to. And so, like, most agents would never even approach something like that. For us, we did the math and made perfect sense, right? So this is just another example of getting creative. I think if another agent has a problem with you getting creative, as long as your clients are fully aware of what's going on and the risks involved, that agent needs to open her mind a little bit instead of being mad at you.
I think look, listing agents can be pissed all day long, for sure.
And to add, I would be pissed if that happened to me too.
Absolutely. Especially if the deal stays together again, then now it's just real estate agents just griping at each other throughout the process, which we've all been through that. But I think your idea, where you took it with getting creative to win deals, that's probably the more important thing to take away from that whole deal. Again, I saw Jennifer talking about she's taking a real estate classes, so she knows every law.
Oh, jeez. Did I mess something up ethically or
no,
contractually?
She said it is a must to disclose a contingency, but again, I think we use contingency so loose. In real estate, like a financing contingency, a home sale contingency.
Because if the financing is based on you selling your home and you already have a financing contingency, if your home doesn't sell, that's going to thwart that financing contingency. So you're basically double contingency there.
Well, and isn't it? Look, and I don't know every state, and I don't want to say it, but it seems to me that the way the contract laws in the state of Texas, the buyer is pretty. You can't make a buyer buy a home that they can't afford to buy. Like you said, you can keep their earnest money, but everything after that is the money's not there.
But even in Texas, though, it's not even clear on who keeps the earnest money.
Exactly.
So that's regardless of what the contract states. I've seen it way too often to where buyers are outside of all their financing periods and ways to get out, and they still escape
Well, that whole everybody's got to sign off on it to release it is where it gets a real move. I've got earnest money from deals that happened 6 years ago that are still sitting at the title company because nobody wants to sign any
Who's
papers.
earning interest on that one?
Yeah, I know, right? It's a good little gambit for the title company if they just invest it somewhere.
But the main thing I thought is when it comes to ethics, right? I just view that as, that's such a gray area in terms of saying, oh, Brian, you're being unethical because of this.
Right.
When in all reality, is it unethical because we didn't present it wasn't presented in that light to that seller and that listing agent, but it was helping your client. So is it better for your clients? Right. So the ethics portion of this comes down to I really find a gray area, and it's always hard to when we teach our agents on something like this, on where's that line.
Right. I think that line, you have to find that on your own, right? Like having somebody be like, well, this is because it's all about experience, right? I don't know about you guys, but I've cut checks to sellers before for mistakes I've made. For instance, I had a client one time that I 100%. Forgot to. They had leased security equipment. The new buyer took possession of the home. My guy's like, "Can I go back and get that equipment?" The new buyer wouldn't let him have it back, so I had to get a check for $900 to buy some leased equipment to make it right. So I think there's some agents who get caught up in that scenario where they're just freaking out about having to fix it.
We bought 2 fridges this year.
Oh, yeah.
We've had back-to-back contracts, and they were friends, right? They closed within the same week, almost on the same street, and we had to buy fridges, and just to make it right. And one of them, we made it right, but one of the clients still, he could have won $1 million and probably still not been super happy.
Right.
But it's still, we're going to do that for our clients. And you're right. Sometimes we just have to eat it.
We use that word ethics a lot, and I see both sides of this scenario, right? I'm just saying how I would have handled the situation, because for me, all I care about at the end of the day is a logical train of thought that leads back to me working in the best interest of my clients, right? Whatever happens in between or whatever, I care more about them being taken care of and me being able to show on paper why what we did made sense. But it is one of those fun little words for agents to use, like, you're so unprofessional, unethical, or whatever. It's so dumb, dude. Because I agree. Because there are things that are outside of our control. But since we are in when it comes down to it, we are the main point of contact between two parties who will never meet each other for the most part, and we're the ones that have to be the messengers of their decisions outside of our own capacity to make those decisions, right? So I've had multiple offer situations. This is a perfect example. This was a few years ago. We had a multiple offer situation, and the sellers and I talked. We set a deadline. I did a CSS blast out to all the agents about the deadline. I put it in the description, whatever, right? Just tomorrow at 6 or something like that. Seller calls me back 10 minutes later. He's like, you know what? Forget the deadline. We've gotten it was 4 offers at this point. He's like, it's not going to get better than this one. Just go ahead and accept this offer or whatever. And so I go, okay. And so we accepted the offer. I'm working with the other agent on the offer. So when I say accept the offer, I'm working on that offer now. I'm not going to go back and tell all the other agents till after I get this offer executed, because now, as again, fiduciary obligation, I got to care about getting this offer executed. So I execute the offer. An hour after we converse about taking that offer, the offer is executed. So within that hour, 2 more offers come in. So I go back to those agents, because I hadn't had a chance to do another email blast, change the description, and I say, thank you so much for the offers. Unfortunately, the sellers did change their mind. They removed the deadline and they've accepted an offer. One of them sent me, and emails don't come in pages, but I would imagine it was 14 pages. Email back about communication standard and ethics and unprofessional and this and that. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Yeah. I'm sorry your buyers didn't get the house, but what do you want me to do? There's just so I feel like being ethical is certainly something to be said, but being ethical is one of those things that people just kind of want to throw at each other every time they're just having a little pity party as well.
And I find it, I'm just not going to accept that the agent who has time to write some novel size email to me has enough business. To me, it just seems move on to the buyers I've written multiple contracts for in multiple offer situations. They just get their ass kicked up and down the street, and it's the 4th or 5th house before you get them under contract. I get it sucks, dude, but you need to hustle on to the next one.
And that offer wasn't even as good
too.
as the one we accepted, so she wasn't
Yeah,
getting
that's
it
the
anyway.
other thing too.
So fucking calm down.
Write a better offer.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Much stronger offer.
Yeah, it's just a difficult topic. So,
Yeah.
I mean, we ran into something like this, and this is something that we talked about in training. What is today? Today is Wednesday, so I think we talked about this Monday or Tuesday. And I don't know if this falls in the ethics line because it's such a bearing. Is it ethical to take an overpriced listing and then beat them up and lower their price and just keep the sign in the ground just to collect buyers?
Yeah.
Right? Is that violating our fiduciary? Right? So when it comes to that, this market is bringing out the cranky.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely.
Right? I mean, every day it feels like it's a punch in the nuts.
Right.
You wake up to something. You think you're ahead of you think you're 2 steps ahead, and all of a sudden, the carpet gets yanked out from under you, and you're having to pick yourself up off the ground and wondering what the heck just happened.
My little Project U mindset, though, is coming in really handy right now because what I am doing with all that stuff is just really because I had I talked shit last week about that referral that was coming in. I no more than left the podcast last week, and they had texted me back, "Oh, we found somebody else." There was a part of me that was kind of frustrated. Like, you made a decision for the most expensive purchase of your entire life in a 45-minute window, right? Like you found somebody that quickly. So that was frustrating. Right. But then I kind of looked up and realized there's a couple more listings. I had other business coming in. Right. So it was fine. But I'm starting to get more like Nick. I think you said this on an earlier podcast. I don't like to lose any of them. Yeah. I don't like to lose any referrals. I don't like to lose any listing. I don't like to lose any of it. So even when one goes the other direction, I'm like, God damn it.
It's like this weird duality because it's like the more business you get, and we can't help it, dude. I know Nick suffers from this. The more business you get and the more stability you get, the more of this unconscious ego you have. Like when I was younger and just struggling to get by, if somebody didn't want to work with me or found somebody else, said, "Oh, we're already working with an agent," whatever. Like it hurt me to the core. But I didn't get mad in the sense that, like, they're making a mistake, right? Now if somebody's like, "Oh, we want a different way," I want to text them back and be like, "You know what you're fucking talking to?" Like, I don't need the business, but you made a mistake. You have no idea.
Exactly.
Well, and that's, who I am. So it's funny you bring that up. I was talking to an agent that I'm 99% sure she'll be joining our team, right? Yeah. And she's at another brokerage, and when I do my sit down and show you our value for our team, we go over our mission, vision, values, beliefs, and perspectives, right? And so, in what we look for are one of our values, right, is we hate to lose more than we like to win, right? And so that's our competitive nature. And so you struck on that, right? So if you don't hire me, I truly believe deep down you're making a mistake. Yep. I mean, it could be you, it could be Matt over here. I still, as much as I love you guys, I still believe that I'm the better option, and just like you guys probably feel the same way.
100%.
And so that's what we look for in our team members is people that hate to lose more than they like to win. Because even on our rec league softball, when we get our ass kicked, I hate having that excuse of like, well, that team was so much better than us. No, we made errors. We didn't, all of our team members hit like
That's
shit.
That's why I couldn't join their rec league. I'm like,
I don't know
if I go play right field, drop a fly ball, Nick's going to murder me.
I don't know if you guys know this about me, if we ever talked about it, but you can ask around. I'm still serving a lifetime ban from the Grapevine Athletic Recreational Kickball League.
Kickball?
Yeah, because I had 1 3-year suspension, which I think they thought you'd stop playing after you were, but nope.
You were waiting.
3 years in one day. I was suited up, ready to go. Played 3 more games, got a lifetime ban.
I want to know the alcohol intake it takes to get a lifetime ban from.
Well, here's the thing. I take it dead serious. That's why I got banned. I don't drink beforehand or anything. I'm training in the off season, like ready to go. And they don't like it when you take it that seriously.
Brian's just in his backyard kicking the red rubber balls from gym class up against
the wooden fence. Here it is. Like I don't like to lose at the big things in my life, like business and stuff. I really don't like to lose at the little things. Like if I can't win a kickball championship every year, I don't even know how I'm going to go on.
He's not even going to sign another contract.
I'm dead serious about it, and I can't help it.
And Heather's over here saying that I'm making the errors and hit like shit. So that's fake news. Fake news all the way. So don't listen to her on that. But yeah, so we are going to start the only real estate podcast worth listening to, Rec League softball team. Yep. If you're good and want to sign up.
As long as that lasts.
Yeah. Co-ed.
I'll show up.
Hey, I already play Monday nights. So.
I will say, if it's going to be co-ed softball, I have no problem with it whatsoever. That already sounds misogynistic. Let me explain.
Yeah,
I just mean,
where are you going?
Baseball, softball can be a relatively complicated sport when it comes to the rules, like tagging up and where to go with the ball and stuff like that. I'd love to play co-ed softball with you guys. Just know the rules beforehand.
Just know the rules.
Oh, man. It's like playing Monopoly with people that don't know the rules. It's like, why are we even here, man? This is just boards and fake money. This is so frustrating.
It takes forever.
Yeah.
HUD would definitely sue you.
Oh, 100%. I just discriminate against the whole
sued by HUD.
gender of people that may or may not know the rules of baseball.
For rec league softball.
I'm losing my license.
And as we pivot into one of our last topics, and I don't know where we're really going to go with this in terms of we're going to talk a little bit about the partnership between RE/MAX and Redfin. Not bagging on a brokerage because we're brokerage neutral here, but RE/MAX recently partnered up with Redfin in a referral agreement so that they can swap customer referrals where Redfin doesn't have a large presence, right? And so. And I know this from when, back in the day when I had actually interviewed with RE/MAX, they had Lead Street, and that was one of their value pitches is, leads are coming in Lead Street. They're supposed to be a higher quality of lead, and, you can, you're going to close 3, 4, 5 more deals a year because of Lead Street. Well, now Lead Street, to my understanding, is gone. Now they're going through Redfin with their referral partner agreement. And, here in Dallas, Redfin has a little bit of a presence. So, if you're a RE/MAX agent here locally, I don't know about nationally, drop comments down below what you think about this, but, here locally in the Dallas-Fort Worth area where Redfin has a little bit of that presence, how do you feel as a RE/MAX agent right now where they're getting rid of Lead Street? Now with Redfin, Matt, what was kind of your take on you used to be a Redfin affiliate where they would send you still, even though you're at Keller Williams, they would send you, lead opportunities. Yeah. But you have a thought process on that.
And this is strictly my experience. And maybe it is beneficial in areas where Redfin doesn't have a foothold because RE/MAX is just is bigger, right? So maybe I'm looking at it through the Dallas lens of this, but my thing with the Redfin leads was there was a large referral to pay on the back end. So the process going in, you kind of have to interview. They make it pretty difficult, which I thought was good. So you just weren't getting everybody in there. They wanted people who were going to close the leads. I didn't find the quality of them. And look, this is not normal real estate agent bitching about internet leads. Right. I can close internet leads, right? Like I've got follow-up systems. I've been running internet leads for years, right? But their quality of their leads specifically wasn't that great. It felt like the leads that came in that didn't want to be handled by the local Redfin agents were then in turn dumped off to the partners. I didn't get one that was even near my average price point, which my average price point's not out of control, so that wouldn't have been unreasonable. And then just they're going back to marketing. Redfin runs a discount platform, right? Like that's what it is, and that's fine. There's a million different models. That's okay. But also the types of the people coming into it were looking at real estate from a discount mindset. Right. So you're going into a lead platform where you're receiving leads from a platform where you're getting a pretty significant, you're paying a pretty significant referral fee at close. You're still having to nurture and walk that lead through the entire process. They're not coming in any hotter than any other lead, right? And then on top of that, you have them just of the mindset of they're getting some sort of rebate or the agent's going to discount, and it didn't necessarily always work out that way depending on the price point they were purchasing at. So there wasn't a lot of meat on those. Right. So again, maybe in areas where RE/MAX has a presence and Redfin doesn't, Redfin can generate some really badass leads. I look at some of the Redfin agents here locally. They close some decent sized deals, and I'm sure a lot of those are Redfin leads. So I know they're getting big fat lead prices. Right. Those aren't the ones they're sending out to their referral partners. Well, in that scenario they weren't.
And were you paying a flat fee just to be a part of the program as well?
No, honestly that was the thing that was attractive about it was you didn't pay the referral till the back end, right? So you were say for whatever reason somebody didn't close or they got. Because at one point with Realtor.com, I think I said last week, I had it wasn't a huge budget, but for an individual agent, it was $1,500 a month.
Well, and the reason I asked is because the draw there is that there's no upfront cost. And
I wasn't lead generating back then.
Yeah, that's where I was going with this. There's what's attractive about this to agents, you got to pay a referral fee, whatever, but there's no cost of acquisition, blah, blah. You have a pretty robust referral system in place now that costs you nothing but time and energy. Tell us more about that and how people can set up something like that feeds you It's going to feed you 30 deals this year.
Oh yeah, for sure. So a lot of mine is agent to agent stuff. So there's a few different ways. So my client referrals are great, and they started picking up probably end of 2016, which is about my 4th year in the business. I think that's probably the normal cycle.
Yeah.
So I started getting quite a few referrals back then. So I started asking for them, which I think a lot of agents just don't ask for them. I think I started really focusing on units because I realized really quickly that units were the fastest way for me to have an opportunity to have more people in my pipeline for referrals. From the Facebook referral side, it started out as just speed to lead. It's gotten much more serious now that I have about 35 closed leads for other agents.
Right.
So there are lots of agents now who can say, no, I've honestly worked with Matt. He does a great job. I sent him my brother, sister, cousin, friend, whatever.
Yeah.
So that's a huge part of it. Anything that's referral or relationship based, you don't expect to turn over overnight. That's why those Redfin leads were so attractive to me, because they were just leads constantly coming in.
Right.
Building up that referral base, I think, takes time. Ben Baker's done an amazing job of making it like his whole business.
100%.
You know what I mean?
And the point of this is also looking at this in terms of whatever brokerage you're at is your niche marketing.
Yep.
And so we this year dove into the agent to agent, and we've closed 8 agent to agent referrals this year.
Yeah.
Where last year we probably were less than 5.
Okay.
Right. And we made that a source. One, I ripped it off from whoever alarm is going off there.
It ain't mine.
Is it mine?
Oh my God, it's actually yours. No?
Nope, not mine.
I don't know where my phone is.
So we'll ignore that. It's a
Hang on.
Where I was going with this is the niche marketing in terms of, it's Brian's phone. That's $5 in the violation jar there.
See, you watch the live show, you get the good shit.
Yeah.
That was the office calling me.
So again, I was going with the niche marketing, the agent to agent, right?
Yeah.
And so with that is we made that a target that we were going after. And you do have to focus hard on it. It's the same thing as expireds, for sale boners, et cetera,
right.
and building that in. So, if I'm a RE/MAX agent and I was killing it in Lead Street and all of a sudden that's gone, does that, devalue your thoughts of being with that brokerage?
I just don't think any real estate agent's business in 2019 is going to survive if you're requiring your broker to pump you leads.
Yeah.
It's not a sustainable business model. So are you pissed off as an agent? Yeah, but you're probably pissed off because you're scared because you don't know what else to do. And they just took away your major lead source, and now you've got to go out and do the stuff you don't want to do, or the stuff that you don't think works, or the stuff that you sucked at one point. I feel like it's more fear for agents than anything else when it comes to that kind of stuff.
The reason to even be with any brokerage, and this is at, I think, the highest level, is the people that are in this room right now, right? If you are choosing a broker or a brokerage, and as somebody like we all are, who's talking to agents every day, trying to grow their team and finding their motivations, their pain points, their reasons for being where they are. If your reason for being at your brokerage is 2 things, splits or that they provide leads, you need a radical mindset shift if you're going to make it in this business. In my opinion, the only reason to choose any particular brokerage is the minds of the people that are at that brokerage, right? I know that where I'm at right now, there will always be in that world and in that circle somebody that I will be learning from every single day if I seek it out. I cannot say that for other brokerages that I've been at. I cannot say that for other brokerages that I know that are out there that exist. It is not your broker's job to build your business for you, right? It's not your broker's job to I don't know, help save you money and splits and crap. Whatever it is, dude, if you're building a business that's going to be a vision for your future, splits should be the last thing you're worried about, dude. Like, you can make so much money at any one of us. It really wouldn't matter what brokerage we were at. The splits would be almost pretty insignificant. It's more about the people, that what you can. What are you going to be the smartest person in the room every day, or are there going to be levels to this? And I know where I'm at right now, where we're at now, there are levels to this. I'm always going to be learning. I think people choose for the wrong reasons at the outset, and then we start to wonder why we have such a high burnout rate in this industry.
Yeah.
When I know that, for full transparency, like Brian and I were looking at some different options at the end of last year, right? Mm-hmm. And we were both almost 99.9% crossing that line. of leaving our current brokerage. And so when we look at it, it's still, we look at the alignment within people. So, when I was a new agent, I relied on that brokerage to provide that value, and I didn't see that within it, it's actually the people there and the businesses that they're growing that's actually truly the value. Right. I don't see it as like, look, we're at Keller Williams, they're a tech company, they're building Command, whatever that is. I don't 100% see that as valuable to my business right now.
Right.
But I see it as being in business with you guys versus if we were at different brokerages, yeah, we would still probably be masterminding like this, but will we be a little bit more closed off? Maybe. Maybe that camaraderie may be a little lessened than some of the other partnerships or networking that we do with some other agents at different brokerages, right?
100%.
So, I mean, that's definitely where I see the value in brokerages today, because like we were going to talk about with David Anderson next week is where does he see these tech companies as a disruptor, and are these tech brokerages, are they a disruptor to the traditional? So.
Yeah. That's going to be an interesting conversation because I definitely think there's a lot there.
Well, and what they just, like, we were, get into that next week, but like what they just did with the California Regional MLS, I'm super intrigued by that.
Yeah.
Like just the whole MLS CRM tie together aspect of their business is, I mean, you talk about the broker, picking a broker due to the people that are there. My move to our current brokerage was hands down life-changing for me, not because of, I don't give two shits about the name on the building. I really don't. Because I'm part of expansion. I see plenty of other offices. I know that every office in this brokerage is not one to be at. There are plenty that are probably a disaster, just like anything else that's huge. But what I do know is our brokerage specifically is the exact right place for me because of the people there. And that is the sole reason for being there.
100%. And here's a crazy thing. We'll talk about this next week. 60% of agents don't have a CRM. And if you don't know what a CRM is, you're probably one of those 60.
Probably one of them. Exactly.
You might be even worse shape.
And here's we'll get into this next week too, and we talked about it earlier. But if you are using your email inbox and your text messages as your CRM, you're not doing enough business in you're not doing enough real estate business for it to matter. Yeah. Like you should not be able to manage your business from your text message box in your inbox.
If you can keep everybody in your devices in your head,
you don't have enough business.
Yeah, not even my head's that big.
100%. And again, if you're watching this live, type L in the comments. If you're watching the replay, type R. This is for people watching on Facebook. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe. Leave us a comment down below. We're actually growing our YouTube channel pretty well.
I know.
It's impressive. And Brian over here is doing a great job. If you're getting some of our emails and if you want to be on our email list, he sends out some amazing gold nuggets. Yeah. He's chopping up some of these videos. I'm going to tell you that, and I think I've said it before, but go back and listen to Adam Bailey's episode.
Yeah.
Because that one, by far, has been the best in terms of being able to chop up, listen over, and implement into your business to be able to, one, tweak your scripting conversations. I know that my agent, Arthur, has changed and started using Home Resource Center.
Yeah, that was big for me.
If you had a magic wand, when would you want to buy or where would you want to buy? He's really adopted that into his scripting, and he's getting responses left and right because of it. I've incorporated it into the text messaging campaigns and features, and we're getting more responses.
That's
so
great.
Go back and listen. I think that's episode
5 or 6. It's been a couple weeks since we had him on.
I think it's 5 or 6.
It's 5.
But we will drop
Maybe
his
7.
It's maybe 7.
We will drop Adam Bailey's show in the comments down below, so you can go back and watch that one. And we were talking with Kyle Draper. He's got he's doing some cool things with social media and helping teach us in terms of one, helping grow our audience base by you're noticing the little clips here of that Brian's chopping up. He's tagging the actual people. What that does is help get the social media presence out. You guys should be doing that as an agent, right? Yeah. When you're closing on a house, taking a photo with them or doing a video testimonial, you should be tagging your clients in there.
Huge.
If you're not,
that's easy.
Dude, tag them in there.
Such an easy, simple
Ask them
thing
to share their own listing on their own Facebook page too.
Yeah,
right?
Do all that. Your sellers want to be involved in the sale of their home.
Yeah,
we always get weird about asking for stuff like that, but if you equip them, have them share stuff out. 100%, dude. And there's suites that'll help you do it, like listings to leads or whatever. They'll write it all for you, and you just got to have them send it out. That's huge. Yeah, get your sellers involved.
And let me ask you this. Let's, before we wrap this up, I don't know how much more time we have. We've got 1 minute. So in 1 minute,
That's perfect.
What review site do you guys use and like in terms of where you want to send your clients to?
Oh, I used to be Zillow, and I'm not doing it anymore. I just heard about this yesterday from my brother who posted on Facebook. Mm-hmm. He said and he posted a screenshot of this. He said 10 different people now message him on Facebook and advertising that they make fake Zillow accounts for a certain set price.
Really?
And it's all looks organic, looks real, and it's very specific. And they'll go and for a couple $100 a month, they'll go and write you X amount of Zillow reviews. And that is the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life. So I think it's Facebook for me now.
Nick changed my mind a little bit last week. I think Google's really where it's at.
Yeah, okay.
I think Google's the more sustainable one. Here's the reality. I think Facebook is already moving away from the younger crowd, right? Instagram,
that's a good point.
So I mean, I think Facebook's a place to be, and Google. I'm probably going to move away from Zillow, even though it's such an amazing consumer resource. Just feeding that monster is no longer helping anybody.
We don't have enough time to go down that rabbit hole because Zillow's doing some crazy shit right now.
Yeah, they are.
In terms of wanting to compete against us. But I'm in Google. We're about to break the 100 review mark as you drop your phone there. 100 review mark. And we do a little bit on Facebook too. So
I think those are the two to focus on if you only had two.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah, and so if you don't have any reviews right now, I mean, you can... if you talk real estate, I have a lady who's leaving me a review who actually, she was upset with her other agent and she was going to fire her. I talked to her not to fire her, and she ended up getting a contract on their closing. So I asked her, go ahead and leave me a review for that, please.
Yeah.
Because I want people to see that I'm not here to step on any toes either.
Right.
Right. So we've got a great show next week.
Yep.
As long as David recovers from that bird flu. So we will have David Anderson on next week. He's the co-founder and CEO of LionDesk, an amazing CRM, and he's done some cool shit. So
yeah, he's done some cool stuff. He started other companies, and he's going to be a perfect person to talk to about this tech startup stuff because that's his bit.
Yeah, 100%. And again, drop your comments down below. Share this, tag this, love this, like this.
Yeah.
Leave us a review on iTunes because we do need those reviews.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think we're going to have a new sponsor here coming out soon.
We'll be announced that next couple of weeks.
Yep. So a big announcement on some sponsorships. And Matt?
I think that's it, man. Thanks for tuning in to Scatter Shooting with the only real estate podcast we're listening to. Derek, take us out, my man.